I'm here today with Eric from Beacon Adhesives. Eric, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. So tell us just a little bit about Beacon Adhesives.
It's a company that was founded in New York back in 1927. The owner's son, actually, Mickey, is still running the company, as is the rest of his family. And they manufacture over 200 products for hobby, industry, the crafts. They work with military, and we make foam tack, we make foam filler and the foam finish. We do hobby coat, which is a finishing product for airplanes. We also make epoxies, we make resins, 100% USA made. Proud to be an American, and great stuff.
So I've heard several times already the name foam tack, and I see that we've got some foam tack in front of us here. Why don't you give us an introduction to this product?
Basically, foam tack is an adhesive that's safe for any type of foam, that'll do every job you need to do on an airplane without having to crack open or mix epoxy or, use caustic chemicals. And this is from gluing servos in to motor mounts to gluing your fuselages together, gluing wood to foam, plastics, glass, almost anything, right down to making hinges. Foam tack is one of the only adhesives that will actually stick to itself over and over and over again. So you won't have an airplane that looks like it's been repaired 100 times. And the best part is this dries to less than a third of its original weight. And all Beacon products are 100% made in the USA right here at Mount Vernon, New York.
So I understand that you had a nice exchange with maybe a youngster that was flying over in the flying cage earlier today. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was a nice young gentleman named Andrew who came by, and he had a Fokker triplane, and it was foam and some balsa wood, and he crashed in the cage. Now, being that the plane was already assembled with CA, he couldn't get it to stick again because CA will not stick to itself. He had walked the show looking for a solution, wound up coming here, and I was able to fix his airplane, and he was with foam tack, and he was up and flying again within 10 minutes. And then he came back later because he broke the hinge on his rudder, and we did the same thing. So he's a happy camper, and we made another loyal customer.
Well, that's great. You know what? I think you're making lots and lots of happy pilots all over the hobby. I really appreciate you taking some time to talk with us today and showing us foam tack. Well, I'm here today with Bill and Sal from Bob Dively Models. How are you guys?
Doing great. It's been a great show so far.
Fantastic. So as I look around your booth here, you guys truly seem to have a little bit of everything. Sal, if you don't mind, I'd love to talk with you a little bit about the light display that we have over here. What kind of things do you have for people to see?
Well, we have the navigation lights that are new this year. These are up to 12 volts and they're sunlight visible. And our newest product as well are our landing lights. So they're a high-powered Cree LED that's sunlight visible.
Those are very, very bright. We might have blinded our cameraman.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
So I understand there's also a product here that is old but maybe a little bit new again that's gotten some increased interest this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Bill?
What we have here is the liquid masking film. We've manufactured this product for, I think, about 37 years now. We've never changed it. It's still different label, same product. And what we use it for is, one thing is painting canopies. The way it works is very simple. You put 3 coats on with a foam brush, get a nice even coat so you get some film build to be able to peel it back off later. But you coat the whole thing, take a pen and draw where you want to cut out, and then score it with an X-Acto knife. Then peel off the part you want to paint, spray it, let it dry, and when you peel the masking off, what you're left with is a razor sharp line. No bleed under from tape, and it gives you a nice finish. We did this wheel pant with tape, and if you look closely, you'll see that as hard as we tried, we still got a little fuzzy edge. So I decided, what is the hardest thing you could possibly cut out? Well, that would be a circle. So we did these. I don't know how you could do this with tape. but it really, you can get very intricate with it. It's a great product, and there's been a renewed interest because people seeing it like for the first time, and they love it. And everybody that has used it already knows how good it is, and they've used it for a long time. We're going to have videos in our new website that are going to be instructional, teach you how to do all of this stuff. Even if you've never done it before, you'll be able to follow the video, and you should be able to build whatever you want.
That's fantastic. Well, definitely a great resource for all those builders out there, whether you're experienced or, to Bill's point, you're just getting started. Thanks so much for coming to the show. Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk with our viewers. We really, really appreciate it. I see obviously a large line of adhesives, but I see some other things here as well. Talk to us a little about some of these items.
Well, obviously a non-adhesive. We have the Robart files. These are, at least in the way I use them, when you're fiberglassing a wing and you have some excess cloth hanging over the edge, these type of fingernail files, sanding sticks, whatever you want to call them, are excellent for cutting the cloth off, the excess cloth off of the wing. Then we have additional tips that will go on the bottles. And then, of course, we have some thread lockers as well. The blue semi-permanent and the red kind of permanent, depending on the size of the threads. We have our debonder, of course. Everybody knows sooner or later you get glue on your fingers, and you can work that in to get the glue off your fingers rather than just peeling it off.
Well, Dennis, I really appreciate you taking some time to show us the amazing line of adhesives that Robart makes available to its customers. But that's really just a fraction of the business that you guys do. You have a whole nother line of products that you've brought to the show here.
Right. Yeah, Robart has been known pretty much from the beginning as the top of the line in retractable landing gear for model airplanes. So we have a display here of a general selection of our pneumatic and electric gear. Myself being an old timer, I grew up with pneumatic landing gear, so we still offer all of that, the landing gear, the valves, the tanks, and everything that goes with it. So
take a look at some of these wheels and tires, because that's one of those items that you may not notice it at first glance, but if something doesn't look quite right about a scale model, it could very well be because it's not a good representation of the wheel and tire that went onto that. It looks like you guys have a great selection of scale tires and wheels.
Absolutely. Some of our wheels, the rims, hubs, if you will, we have those specified specifically for Spitfire with that style. We have P-51 style wheels, D-18, of course, nearly anything that you could imagine.
So I see that we've got not only a huge selection of balsa here, but I see some mention of it looks like maybe you've got just one or two kits that are available as well.
The line of Zeroli kits and Wendell Hostetler, and we're picking up Bates, and we're picking up Valley Court line of Warbird.
So yeah, maybe just a couple to choose from.
Oh, there's enough.
And I see here that all of your balsa is AAA grade. Tell our viewers what that means.
Good wood.
Good wood. That's what it's all about. Fantastic. And so, I see people, as I've walked by here all weekend, I've seen a lot of folks, they're looking at each individual piece and they're digging through these boxes. What kind of things are they looking for?
They're looking for the hardness, the softness, the weight, and the quality of the wood for whatever project that they're, working on.
And so if any of our viewers are out here working on a project and they're not sure exactly what type of wood they should be searching for, is that something they could give National Balsa a call and you might be able to help them with?
Without a doubt. We're here to help.
Awesome.
Educate.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for taking a little bit of time with us. It's been the highlight of my afternoon. Really, really appreciate it.
We've been around about 60 years. Baltimore, still in Baltimore. 60 years ago when people were building planes, everybody had to build. So we were what you went to. Dubro, a lot of products like that. And now there's a lot of ARFs, so some people change out some of the hardware from their ARFs, so they still come to us. Some people still build, they come to us, but we've kind of slowly worked into the giant scale because all those guys still need all of our products. And that's where we focus. And we still are pretty successful today. We've been around a long time. We still have 2 engineers on staff that design all our products. We're still a true manufacturer. We manufacture 95% of everything we make in-house or in the United States. It's hard to do in this industry. It's very hard to do, but we still do it, and we've been around a long time, and we hope to stay around a long time.
Well, we really appreciate all the hard work that you guys put into making some quality products, and I understand that you have a couple of brand new products that you'd like to share with us.
We do. Well, the first one is that we partnered with Superdry, who is a manufacturer of full-scale aerobatic smoke for full-scale airplanes. So we partnered with them. They make and package this Sky Smoke for us, for the RC industry, and we are able to sell it through our distribution process to get it into retailers and modelers' hands. And it's a phenomenal product. It's been highly touted as Superdry over many, many years for full scale, and the modelers that have gotten their hands on it over the years. And we're hoping that we can just get it out to a larger audience, so everyday RCers that want to smoke can get to it. And we've only been doing this a few months now, so it's going to take a year or so, but we're getting it out there.
Fantastic, and I've heard a lot of people talking about Sky Smoke while I've been on the trade show floor, so I think the word's getting around.
Great, thank you.
And we have something else here that I understand is pretty new for Sullivan.
Sure, we have a new product line. It's a brand new gas line. Now, it's universal. You can use it with glow, diesel, smoke, gas, anything. But generally, because of its expense, most people would buy it for gas. It's a replacement for the tried and true Tygon, which works fine. Everybody's used it for a lot of years, but it gets hard, it can get slimy. It does get affected by ethanol over time. So this is a fluoroelastomer. It's proprietary blend. We had a chemist and an extruder make this to our standards. They colored it for us. It's ours and ours alone. It's very expensive. But we were able to get it out to the industry and to the modeler at a pretty fair price. And in the 4 or 5 months that we've actually had it available, we've literally sold tens of thousands of feet of it. So I think when the modelers are getting their hands on it and using it, they're seeing how superior it is to Tygon. I will bet you'll see it. A lot of people will have a version of it in a year or two. I mean, it's going to be that popular, I think.
Well, I think anybody that has spent time on a construction project knows that you get what you pay for in components. So a great quality product like that to fill that void is very much appreciated by all the builders out there.
Thanks.
We're a distributor of little tiny screws, mainly for the model industry. Been in business for over 25 years and have metric running from 1.6 to 6 millimeter and standard screws running from 0090 to 1/4 inch, and all different types of heads and alloys.
So if one of our viewers is at home, they're working on a project, maybe they know they're going to need some of these components, but they're not quite sure where to start, how could they get in touch with Microfasteners to get some guidance?
You can just look us up on the web from microfasteners.com.
Well, thanks so much, Randy, for introducing Microfasteners to our audience. If you've got 2 things that need to be put together, chances are Microfasteners is going to have what it takes. You guys have an amazing display here of all kinds of tools that I think builders could really, really use when they're working on their models. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Stepcraft?
Sure. So Stepcraft basically is we design a machine that's a multifunction machine. So it's one machine that comes in 5 different sizes that it does pretty much anything you want it to do. We have over 12 different attachments, from milling to 3D printing to laser cutting, engraving. Pretty much anything you want, you can make it on this machine.
And what kind of materials can you use with this equipment?
So with a spindle, you can cut anything from plastics to woods, brass, aluminum, 6061 aluminum, copper, a whole variety of things.
And I noticed that it looks like, of course, this is all computer driven. I can see the screen up here. Is this software that Stepcraft also makes available to operate the equipment?
Yep. So this software comes with the machine when you buy the machine.
Fantastic. If someone were interested in picking up a piece of equipment like this, what could they expect to spend, and what kind of skills might they need to really be successful with it?
So our machines start off at right around $1,000, and then go upwards from there. You don't really need a lot of experience, just a lot of basic understanding of tools, and from there you can learn all about the software and everything as you go on.
One of the things that I thought was really, really neat about these products when I saw them is it looks like there's different types of implements that you can actually put into this machine. You're not limited to just what you see here. Is that right?
Yep. So we have 12 different attachments, such as this is a HF 500 spindle. So this is just a high-quality spindle that can cut a whole bunch of different types of woods, aluminum. We can also 3D print, cut vinyl, laser engrave and laser cut, a whole variety of things. A lot of people are intimidated by this because it's a different piece of machinery not a lot of people are used to, but just have the mindset that if you spend a few hours a day working on this, you can become really good with it and create anything you want.
Well, if you're building a scale warbird, that model is not going to fly itself. It's going to need to have a pilot. And I'm here with Adam from Warbird Pilots, who can tell us exactly how you can get somebody that looks great in the cockpit. Adam, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. So tell us just a little bit about Warbird Pilots.
Sure. Well, it's a company I started about 4 years ago, and what we carry is a full line of scale pilot figures for literally approximately 6 or 7 scales. We go from 1/8 all the way up to 3rd scale, which are actually brand new pilots we just brought out. But as you can see, we cover multiple countries, multiple eras, try to make them as accurate as we can for the hobbyists that are purchasing these aircraft. For example, if you look at the U.S. Navy pilot. Now this is a 12-inch tall figure. So this figure is designed for your 1/5 and 1/6 scale. And what I've done is we list them as multiple scales. And the reason why is many of our aircraft, ARFs and built, the cockpit is one of those areas that is usually designed last. So what happens is the manufacturer will install all of its servos, linkages, have all that designed and put into the aircraft, and literally what's left is the cockpit. And they'll turn around and say, well, how much room do we have left? And they'll build a cockpit with whatever room is left. Usually what that'll do is it causes the cockpit to be a little shallow. So what I've done is I've designed the figures with a cotton-filled wireframe body. Old figures would be plastic. They'd literally bend in one spot. So you were stuck with them being a little high or sitting tall. So what I've done with the wireframe gives you the ability that if you bend him and you sit him in the cockpit at this height, and let's say he's sitting a little high, go ahead, bend him a little higher up the waist, gets him to sit down lower. You can bring these figures up to an inch and a half or so, higher or lower, based on what your airplane needs and what you need to do to get in there. At the same time, with the wire frame, they're incredibly light. With the cotton bodies, being able to put them in any position possible gives you the flexibility that we don't usually have in our aircraft. At the same time, all your clothing and equipment's loose. So you can literally set this up any way you want to. You can have the goggles up or down. You can have the oxygen mask on or off. You can take the parachute pack on or off, same as the life vest. Clothing, everything is loose, giving you the ability to fully adjust the figure exactly how you need it.
I was drawn to the light here to find out a little bit more about Cal Air and what you guys do.
Well, the light was brought here specifically just to draw people to it, and there's pictures of just that light. It's a nostalgia light bulb on top of an old voltmeter. But I'm in electronics, and I've been in electronics in the hobby for many, many years. Ran a company called Custom Electronics. Been out here at the RAM show since about the mid-'80s when it was at Yonkers racetrack, and then up to the sports complex in Westchester. Really enjoy the RAM show. Have not been here in 8 or 10 years. This is the first one in quite a while. And now we're doing vintage radio work, restoration, and conversions to 2.4. But on top of that, we've got gobs and gobs of parts. So the do-it-yourselfers that want to put together a radio themselves or looking for that odd part or something like that, we'd be happy to help you with that as well.
So I understand we've got an example of some of your handiwork right here behind us.
This is a Craft Signature Series transmitter from the mid-'80s. We restore these things, including down to the nameplate, rearrange the switches, just as though we went back in time to the 1970s, mid-1970s when these radios first came out. But then we also offer a module that's built into the Channel Master case that converts to 2.4. So just by simply plugging this in place of one of the AM or FM modules, it'll be on 2.4. We'll operate with JR protocol, either the DSM-2 or the DSM-X. So the stuff that's in the airplane is modern and updated. Flying it with a vintage transmitter, perfect if you're also flying a vintage airplane.
Absolutely. Well, if someone's interested in having you put together a radio system for them, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you and find out what the next steps look like?
Have a website that's, I think, pretty easy to find. It's just calorr.com. Get both R's in there, calorr.com.
Fantastic. Well, Cal, beautiful work that you've put together here. Thanks so much for coming to the show and for taking a few minutes to talk with some of our viewers about Cal Air.
Well, thank you, and did very well at this show. We'll be back next year.
Sounds great. We'll look forward to it.